The league's leading wideout, Jackson Smith-Njigba has reached his Charizard evolution, leaving secondaries scorched and scoreboards skyrocketing. Nearly 200 yards ahead of the next closest receiver, JSN's move to the outside has been a hit, pairing perfectly with new additions Sam Darnold and OC Clint Kubiak. Maximizing his two most important assets, Kubiak has tailor-made the Seahawks offense to their skill sets, and they already look like the league's next dynamic duo. An extremely agile runner, JSN excels in change of direction, with a 3-cone time that'll scare any DB. This translates into ridiculous route running, cutting corners to ribbons with practiced precision. The Seahawks go old school here, building a wall for Darnold as their outside guys run shake routes. The corner's way off, so JSN wastes no time getting out the blocks, pumping his legs hard to get to top speed. At 12 yards, he cuts off his outside foot as if he's going to the post, forcing the DB to bite, only to then slam on the brakes and snap back towards the sideline. The DB's turning tail and JSN's wide open for the toe tap. He's absolutely deadly on these outbreakers, unguardable even by the best corners in the league. The inside man on the bunch here, he's lined up one-on-one with Derek Stingley, who just can't stop the connection. Look at the slight stem inside to sell a crossing route before straightening, then snapping to the sideline, accelerating out the cut and away from his man. The ball's late from Darnold, but JSN's created 2 yards of separation, leading to a catch on 3rd and long. This time, he's moved to the solo side in trips, and the Cards are showing pressure, meaning JSN has more one-on-one battles on the way. I told you, nobody can stick with him on this out route, making sure to attack that inside hip to create space, then snapping boundary as Darnold times one out the cut. Now this is really good coverage, but watch the excellent work by JSN to not get caught flattening the route, instead fighting back for the ball to meet it at its apex, denying the corner a chance. Hey, Marvin Harrison Jr. watching on the other sideline, take note bruh. It ain't just the routes, but his ability to track and pick up the flight of the ball. Cut motions to make it the same trips formation, and the alignment gets him a one-on-one matchup. Zion McCollum is glued to his hip throughout the route, but the definition of an elite receiver is being open even when you're covered. Darnold trusts his man, timing at the cut, but it's inside and gives the corner a chance. But look at the speed with which JSN spots the flight, jumps, and spins, corralling the ball before the corner can even play it. That is elite. A lot of fuss is made about play design, but designing plays that fit your players is the real key. And this is where the offense takes its next leap. Coordinated by Clint Kubiak, he brings that Kubiak philosophy to Seattle, a perfect pairing for Darnold and JSN. Gary Kubiak, his father, was known best for his heavy use of under-center play action and loved to get his QB on the move, pairing it with a wide zone running game that made everything look similar. This year's Seattle team fits that same mold, blending it with modern wrinkles to create a truly explosive offense. Looking to take advantage of their speedster and big arm QB, the Hawks bring the tight end in motion before going heavy play action and building a wall. Kupp will run a deep hook to try to grab the safety's attention, with JSN turning on the burners on the skinny post. Look at the route from Jackson. He splits his feet with the hop, freezing the corner, immediately attacking inside to win the leverage. He then drifts back over the top to stack the route, before bending to the post, accelerating away from the defense. It's a great pocket for Darnold to read from, but pressure will get through late, causing this to fall a few yards short, letting us peep more great tracking from JSN. Darnold throws his high, allowing his receiver to read the flight, and JSN stalls his pace to catch it over the shoulder. Incredible. On this next one though, the burners go the distance. The Jaguars are playing quarters poach, and this play is a good reminder that quarters is a leverage coverage, not a deep coverage. The aim of this defense is to match everyone based on release, playing top down on the routes to win leverage and be able to combat any route combination. But it has a weakness. The corner has the #1 receiver to their side, playing with outside leverage with some help coming from inside. But if you can find a way to distract the safety, then you can burn the corner to the post, with little chance to catch up. Here, Andrew Wingard gets distracted by the 2 releasing vertical, and Smith-Njigba takes Greg Newsome to the track meet, tracking another Darnold bomb, this time for 6. Seattle's O-line has struggled in recent years, so why not leave 8 men in protection and build a blockade for the deep shot? They fake the split zone as Kupp and JSN work fast downfield, switching their verts as they try to confuse the Bucs' quarters coverage. They distribute it well, but this leaves a safety on JSN. and Kupp smartly fades his route to take his corner out of the play. Spotting the matchup, and with a pocket cleaner than many warm-up throws, Darnold puts another one in the sky, knowing his boy will outrun him. You'd like to see this out in front, but again, the trajectory of the ball allows JSN to track it, snagging one despite the safety catching up. It's the tracking that makes these so deadly, because the deep ball is rarely perfect, but both Darnold and JSN help make each other right. That's sustainable. It ain't all over the top. The Seahawks will chunk you with a crosser too. The tight end motions across the formation before working back again as the ball is snapped, helping create 3 double teams to build a wall, with only their best lineman Charles Cross left on an island. Torrey Horton runs a deep corner to clear out the deep third, and JSN runs the high cross into the vacated space. Darnold has nobody within 5 yards of him, throwing a nice touch pass for the chunk play. JSN ain't the only receiver to benefit from this heavy play action. The rest of the offense eats too. Here, they run double crossers, and Torrey Horton benefits from JSN's gravity. Hell of an effort by Darnold to stand in through the blown protection, finding Horton for the score. And here's nice design to sneak Cooper Kupp free up the sideline. Kupp motions to tight left, and Petrie follows with the motion, indicating man coverage. Spotting Petrie's alignment, Darnold kills the run to a pass, and as Kupp sneak up the right sideline of the wheel route, as the Seahawks move the pocket, faking the stretch right. Alignment has Petrie behind the play, and Darnold shows more good touch to find his receiver in stride. We've mostly been showing straight dropbacks off the play action. Now it's time to get to the movement side. Kubiak has Darnold boot out of various fake actions, getting the defense working one way before creating an easy 3-level read back the other way. Torrey Horton will motion across the formation to try to move the linebackers right, as the Hawks run one of the league's hottest plays, insert flash. It's boot action with the tight end blocking for 2 counts before flashing to the flat, as Cooper Kupp inserts through the C-gap to run the corner route in the flood concept. Both the flash and corner are well guarded, but the flood has a crosser splitting the zone levels, and it's who else but the protagonist of the video. They'll boot both ways, but with Darnold strong rolling left, they can make it less predictable for the defense going against the grain. It's a naked boot this time with nobody blocking the end. And watch the fantastic footwork and vision from Darnold to scan through his first 3 reads, then get to JSN as the 4th option coming from the backside. Brilliant read and throw. Boot action is also great because it creates lots of easy throws into space. Here's the same flash concept we showed earlier, this time off the motion. And with the edge defender crashing to Darnold, it's an easy flip to Arroyo for the catch and run. Here's a play that's all over the league, fast flat. Instead of being involved in the play action, the back works immediately to the flat, as the line and Darnold carry out the play action the opposite way. This usually leaves the back outflanking the defense and an easy pass for the QB, but the Bucs corner is ready and clamps to Charbonnet. The great thing about fast flat though is how many different options it gives the QB. And here, Darnold spots the backside crosser wide open for 6. We've actually got a whole video on this concept, so please check that out when you get a chance. And here's more creativity with the boot. They get into 13 personnel and offset the back before JSN comes in motion to make it a 4-strong formation, running fast to the flat as Darnold reverse pivots out. The Cardinals do a good job to distribute, but again, good reading gets Darnold to his hook read, finding an open man for the first. They'll fake off toss action too, and boot Darnold out, which allows them to get to this creative set in the Cardinals game, where JSN runs the orbit motion and becomes the ball carrier off the toss. Get your best players the ball. It ain't that hard, man. The Seahawks only sit in the middle of the pack when it comes to motion, but their usage is purposeful and never wasted, helping reveal coverages or creating mismatches to exploit. We start with the shift, not a straight motion, but this really illustrates their intentionality with it. Kupp motions from left to right, and with nobody following, Darnold can tell the Bucs are playing zone. Now, it's impossible to tell, but my guess is if they had got a follow, they would have snapped the ball in this formation, sneaking JSN through traffic out of the backfield, but seeing its zone, Darnold calls for the second shift, helping flood the zones. The Bucs end up with almost a box coverage in cover 3, and Darnold times the short post right between all 4 defenders to, well, who else? Here's a nice motion to create a fast throw. This time, it's the back who changes sides and bump motions to form a dirty trip, and this helps show Darnold the zone coverage and define a throw. The Mike calls out to his safety the corner route is coming. The nickel works out to the flat to deal with the back, and Kupp's open for Darnold to find quickly. Kupp's the motion man again, and this time they get a tracker in Jalen Petrie. But that's not always a perfect tell against Houston, with Petrie able to swap sides in Houston's heavy quarters coverage. So Torrey Horton will too come in motion, and this time no one tracks. And on the snap, you can see Houston's quarters defense form. The Hawks have a perfect play call against it, running bang spot, using Kupp to hold the linebackers with JSN working into the space behind. The safeties are backed up on the long second down, and Darnold times another one to his boy. Let me know when y'all get tired of seeing this. More understanding here of the Houston defense as the motion has them swap the apex player, and then the bump helps expand the quarters to open the throwing windows. Petrie waves off Kupp to the coverage and tries to drop back into his deep quarter, but look at the precision on the throw and route. Thrown right at the cut, and JSN doesn't settle on cutting the corner, working back to the ball to make sure it's his. Baller. And this is a really creative use of motion to set a protection. The Seahawks are an empty, but get to a 6-man protection by bringing A.J. Barner in motion, having him block the edge defender as the line slides left. Darnold's got a nice throwing window, finding Kupp for the first. Another way the Seahawks like to use motion is to isolate JSN as a solo receiver. Jake Bobo motions from the stack to form a trips, and this gets Jackson a one-on-one opportunity no matter the coverage. The Jags want to be in zone, but JSN sharply cuts a slant into the space and says, "Guard me," as Darnold rips one for the first. And here they motion into 4 strong, triggering the solo lock call by the Houston's quarters defense, getting him one-on-one with Kamari Lassiter. There's little anyone can do to guard him one-on-one, as he just bursts right past him, receiving a bucket drop from his QB. Man, this tape is ridiculous. JSN isn't the only one benefiting from the system. Darnold has caught fire too. We finally got to see Darnold under competent coaching last year in Minnesota, and he put up some good numbers. But this year, he stepped his game up again. Although we're yet to know if he'll turn back into a pumpkin in primetime. The motion gets a good read of the man coverage, and Darnold knows the Saints are in cover 1, and he's got the perfect opportunity to throw the high red fade. These throws are a QB's favorite, and it's another dime delivered over the shoulder. More early throwing in the red zone, this time with even better anticipation. The Jags present a 0 look, but this leaves one-on-ones on the back end, and the Hawks create an open throw with the China concept. Darnold puts this up before Kupp is even cut, throwing this to a spot on the field only his man could get to. His work through his reads has also been impressive, willing to throw early and time through the zones. The quick outs get clamped on, while Darnold's fast to recognize the cover 3, working backside and firing through the zones to Jake Bobo. And he and JSN have been on the same page when it comes to improv too. Really nifty work here from Darnold to get out of the sure sack, stepping sideways, then up before escaping out left. 11 reads what's happening and wheels back with him, breaking north to find the space, and Darnold repays the favor, lofting up a ball for his boy to find. On pace for 2,000 yards, JSN would finish as the all-time leader for a season if he can continue this pace. With the vertical attack designed to stretch the field, he won't struggle with the volume. He's just got to keep hauling in the targets. In a league full of uncertainty, the Seahawks look like one of the most complete teams in football. We'll be back to cover the defense if they keep performing, so you best be subscribed for that.